How's it going, everyone? I'm the one and only Kaiju Sage. Welcome back to a new video, and in today's video, quite simply, we're going to be taking a look at the Eldritch Altar's FAQ as a follow-up video to yesterday's video, where we took a look at and gave a breakdown of the whole thing at TLDR and a detailed look at it. So now we're going to look at what additional information they're providing for us, just like we did with the last 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿 and whatever FAQ, 𝙀𝙓𝙃 and mitigation. And yeah, we're going to take a look at it. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to grow the channel as much as possible before 3.20 comes out. And yeah, you'd really help me out a lot. So just go down there, subscribe, leave a like. I really appreciate it. And yeah, without further ado, let's dive in and talk about what's going on in the Eldritch Altar FAQ. So I'll just go one by one on these and look at the question. I'll see what they say, and I'll give my thoughts on each of them. This one's pretty short, so it probably won't take too long. Can we get altar mods on the map mod UI? Yes, we've added this in 3.20. So what they mean by this is over on the map, like when you're in the map and you press tab and bring up the full overlay, and you can see that long mod list on the right side. Currently, that does not display altar mods. Now it will. Turn my gain down just a little. And yeah, so yeah, like it's just that'll be useful. You'll be able to see what's happening in the map mod section, and you won't have to be guessing about what the altars have applied, or you won't have to backtrack, run back to the altar where you put the effect on to see what the altar did. So pretty good. Okay. Can you make altars more readable in the heat of combat? We've discussed the community feedback around this, specifically to consider options around instance pausing, color indicators, or reward symbols. Each of these options has their own drawbacks, so we won't be making any changes on this front now. The best thing to do is to finish killing monsters surrounding the altars. Okay, so this is a great idea. I like where they're going. It's a good question, and I'm glad they're considering it. When they say instance pausing, think about, if you're an older player like me, think about when the Shaper used to show up. When the Shaper was influenced in a map and he would show up to the boss fight, he would pause time, say something to you, and then kind of vanish into like a little puff of smoke. It's really cool. Or like Ultimatum more recently. Ultimatum had instance pausing. When you would come up and it was time to pick a new challenge, it would instance freeze and you had to pick between your challenges. I think that's a good option. I think it's a little bit abrasive. It's a little bit disruptive sometimes. Like if we're talking about having the instance pause when the altar spawns, that's definitely, I think if they want to do an instance pause when you click the altar, that's fine, because then you know that you have performed an action to walk over to the altar, click it, you expect an instance freeze. That's fine. Color indicators, reward symbols, fine. I mean, there's not a whole lot they can do for things as far as making them more readable in combat outside of instance pausing. I mean, adding color indicators is fine. I don't know exactly what kind of indicators they would add. Same thing with reward symbols. I don't know what reward symbol would help you understand. I mean, I guess you just put a little currency icon or a little div card icon above the two options. But like, they also want you to have to look at the rewards and the downside. So if you just put a little currency and a little div card, people might just start clicking, ooh, pretty picture of a currency, click. They want you to have to actually read the altar, so I don't know. That one's a little harder, but I do hope they'll do the instance pausing when you click an altar. That's what I would personally do. How common are awakened gems from the Maven? So they're talking about here. They were talking about the change that they announced yesterday, that awakened gems are now going to be able to drop from Maven witnessed boss fights and maps, and assumedly as well Maven witnessed fights like the arena where you fight 10 map bosses. I assume that also applies. But yeah, like you can now, like even when you kill a Maven witnessed map boss, just literally clearing a map with the Maven on it, you have a chance to drop Awakened Gems. So how common are Awakened Gems from the Maven? When you kill the Maven herself, chance of getting an Awakened Gem is quite common. It's a hard boss fight. If you've never fought the Maven before, it's a hard freaking boss fight, dude. Like it is terrible. The drop chance for the Maven witness map bosses is a lot lower than that. Yeah, because it's not an in-game boss. Because these fights occur more often, the goal is that they're common enough that it feels worthwhile running Maven witness maps, while not having awakened gems feel too common and significantly lowering their value. So that tells me you're probably looking at like one awakened gem in like 20 to 50 maps. I mean, depending on your luck. Probably on average, you're probably talking around 35 to 40 maps to get one awakened gem from just doing witnessed map boss kills. That's just my guess. It's total guesswork. I have no idea, but that's a reasonable chance while not completely trivializing just kill the Maven or just farm other things. So, next, how common are rusted scarabs in the core drop pool? Because if you didn't see, from yesterday's video, they're adding rusted scarabs to the core drop pool. The exact weighting hasn't been finalized yet, but currently we're looking at them being slightly less common than rogue markers. Note that on top of other sources of scarabs like altars, delirium, betrayal, these drop less frequently from altars in 3.20, but other sources haven't changed. So you can still get them from all the other sources, and they're added into the core drop pool, which slightly less common than rogue markers. I get on average one set of rogue markers dropped like every 2 maps, we'll say. So you're probably looking at getting one scarab every 2 to 3 maps. That's pretty good. I mean, my brother and I were talking about this, and I said yesterday that the rusted scarabs in the core pool was maybe not a good thing, but I think for the... What am I trying to say? For the core audience, for the just casual players and just the for fun players, absolutely 100%, this is a great change. It gives access to more people to have scarabs on their maps, and it just is honestly probably a really good change. And you'll still be able to sell silver and gold scarabs in bulk and rusted scarabs in bulk, so you'll just have to start selling them in quantities of 20 plus now instead of in quantities of 10 plus. So that's okay. I'm honestly fine with it. It'll give people access to scarabs now, and they'll get to actually try them out some. Okay, so let's see now. Why does currency drop in stacks of 1 now? So they're talking about on influenced monsters specifically. Because one of the focuses of yesterday's thing was basically map bosses drop 3 Vol Orbs or something like that. Basically, they want it to be where map bosses are worth running because they'll drop 3 of something. An influenced pack will now only drop stacks of 1 to keep the bosses worth doing. They want the map bosses rewards from altars to be worth considering now, because currently they're not. They're junk. You literally kill the map boss before you do your altars so that you can get even more pack drops, and that's a lot more worth your time. One of the goals from altar changes from the outset was to retain the feel of altar such that the gameplay feels familiar. As we're generally happy with how it feels to play, part of retaining this means we want to keep the frequency of encountering Eldritch Altars relatively common. What that means is you'll have giving out more rewards relatively often, so in one way of balancing this is lowering stack size. That's true too. They said you're going to get 50% more altars at 33% less pack size, so you're going to get more altars overall and roughly the same amount of mobs in the end of the day. It all equalizes out pretty much. Most currency rewards from influence monsters already drop in stacks of 1. They were a few outliers, most notably map currency. Outliers are generally the only thing that has changed here in terms of stack size. So there you go. It's mostly a cosmetic change. They just had to announce it because of how mad the community's been of late, and they don't want to piss anybody off. There you go. And then last but not least, are you nerfing heist and expedition rewards? We have no plans regarding this. Yeah, that's a 3.21, 3.22 kind of question. That's have a good league or two first, and then maybe consider taking some things down a peg, because right now the community is so pissed off, the game is liable to explode. So they really need a win here. They're not going to take risks by doing something like nerfing heist and expedition right now. That's just dumb. But it's a valid question. So yeah, let me know what you think about this. Let me know what your thoughts on all of these questions are. Let me know if you think these are good changes, good points. Let me know if you have any other questions that they didn't answer in the comments down below, and I'll try my best to answer them for you, or I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can figure something out. If I don't already know the answer, I'll do a little research and try to answer it for you. And once again, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. I'm trying to grow the channel as much as possible before 3.20 comes out, and I'd really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving here in America, so I'm probably not going to be able to make a video tomorrow. I'm sorry in advance. I'll make a post or something while I'm once this video is uploaded and doing all that stuff. But yeah, it's Thanksgiving. I'm not gonna have time. I have to drive 2.5 hours to a family get together tomorrow, and then 2.5 hours home. So whatever, it's how it goes. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will see you all for a new video on Monday of next week, and I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving, a great weekend, and a great day.